Radical innovation is a very interesting concept, right? Right. Because if I look at it, that you have to look at what is really relevant, because it takes some time. There's a lag between the time you start developing a product, you introduce it, then it's accepted, and the customer ships it, and so on, right? So you have to have this kind of a little bit of a, sorry for using the word crystal, because we actually I compete with crystals, but crystal ball, right? Where you want to see ahead of what is anticipated, what is the potential market need, and then you're trying to intercept that market need, which means you need to develop technologies for that, which may be long gestation time, long period development, or it could be I could take an existing product and add to it, right? Augment it in a certain way. So those are kind of the things that you could look at. But again, end of the day, it has to pay off, meaning there are what I call money specs, money specifications, or customer cares about the spec perform. Just because you say I got 10x better on something, customer says, so what? I don't care. That's just your propaganda. It doesn't mean anything to me. So it has to be relevant, right? So we try to make sure that that is in fact the case. And then if it comes to having to do belt tightening, you would kind of tighten the strategic investment and spend more on new product development, because that will give us quicker time to market, quicker time to revenue. So these are knobs, and there's no easy answer, because many times you're like, oh, you're asking me to choose between my thumb and my little finger, which one to keep, right? And both are important, right? You can't say I'll just give up one for the other, right? So say this, that many times companies limit innovation to only technology innovation or product innovation, right? Actually, this kind of innovation word is not limited to engineering and operations, right? You need to have innovation in business practices, how you sell, how you market, how you treat your employees, how you communicate with your employees, right? So for example, if you're having a communication meeting, all hands meeting nowadays because of our pandemic situation and so on, you have supposedly you're doing a Zoom call and you've got all these people all over the world, you have to request them to turn their cameras on, just like you asked me to do that, right? And make sure the backdrop is not something compromising. Right, I'm just joking here, but something that is going to have some problems later, right? And make sure that it's like, even though it's flat, it's still a one world, right? That kind of feeling. And make sure that there's frequent communication. I mean, these things we were not doing. We would have a quarterly all hands meeting before, right? Where you gather everybody and it's a one-way thing. And now the emphasis is more on interactive communication, right? So those are also innovations in different ways. How you sell, how earlier we used to print data sheets or send CDs with catalog of our products. Nowadays, nobody does that, right? It's all like, oh, you have a menu available on your web and you can self-serve, right? So different world. So those are also innovations, not limited to just making a fancy gizmo or a widget.